All right. I think my first riot or melee that I was involved in was in juvenile hall in Cocoa County, Martinez. Myself, another guy from Antioch, and Mike Red got in a riot with the blacks in Diablo for the other guy having a swastika drawn on his shoe. It was us three against, we got jumped on by like 15 blacks. Went on for about 10 minutes. It was, finally got it broken up. My second riot, I believe, was in San Francisco County Juvenile Hall. That one, we turned out a little better for us because it was the whites and the Samoans against the blacks. And we was all kids, about, 120, 130 pound kids. But the Samoans was all like 200 and something pounds. They was already big ass youngsters. So that one turned out a lot better for us. Those were the two riots I was in juvenile halls. And did several removals in the county jail before I went to the pen. At West County, I removed some SODs out there. Did some removals on Northerners when I got to the hole. First time I went to the pen.
I don't mean to cut you off, Toby. Can you elaborate on the removing Northerners? Like, how did that go about? Because you ran white and you were moving Northern Mexicans, Norteños?
Yeah, we in AdSeg, it was on site with us. So whenever we came out with them, it was on. So we ran with the whites and the Southsiders ran together, and at that time all the Southsiders were housed in AdSeg, the hole. So when I got there, anytime the doors cracked, we would get on them.
Were there weapons involved?
Not at that time. I hit somebody with a pitcher of boiling water one time. That was about the only weapon.
Oh man!
That was before I went to the pen.
When that water hit that person, man, what happened? Like, did the skin melt? I've heard skin melting stories. I've heard you could see bone, the meat.
Well, you couldn't see no bone or nothing like that, but I do remember seeing the dude a few days later, and he had the imprint of the thermal shirt that he was wearing on his chest. So it melted the thermal into the pattern on his chest.
Man, that's tough. And after you hit him with the water, what was the next step? You obviously went to the hole. Anything happened there?
We were in the hole. That's where it happened at, was in the hole. It was just always little melees, whenever the doors opened and it was just on and cracking. It was on site.
Would you say the whites and northerners were probably the two groups that had it the most, surprisingly, instead of whites and blacks, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing time for a long time, 30 something years, and I've really only been into it that I can remember twice.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Twice with the blacks in over 30 years.
Damn.
where I've been into it with the Northerners, you know, at least 50, 60 times.
So after the removal with the hot water, what came next?
I think then I went to the pen. I came over here to San Quentin and went to West Block. And about a week after I got to West Block, I ended up catching a stabbing for a white guy that was playing volleyball on the West Block yard with the blacks. So when he came off the court and went to sit at the table, I stabbed him once in the back, as I didn't have no idea really what I was doing. I was a young kid, 18 years old. Stabbed him once in the back and then turned around and took off out of there. And that was my first stabbing inside a prison.
Was there any nerves on your first stabbing when you got to the adult institutions?
Not really, because I mean, I knew that was part of the territory. I couldn't wait to get to the penitentiary. You know, that's all I wanted to do as a youngster was hurry up, turn 18, so I could get to the pen and put in the work I needed to put in. And yeah, it was just a sick, twisted, morbid reality of how I grew up.
And since that was kind of you just hit him in the back one time and peeled off, did you have any say like just dudes come up to you and go, "Come here, youngster, let me take you under my wing and we'll show you how this is done"?
Pretty much. I mean, it was like a big slumber party as soon as I got to the pen. I knew all the guys my age, and then my dad knew all the older guys. So Cocoa County had a big car at the time, and San Quentin was our house. So it was, I was under the wing even before I got here. They knew I was on my way.
Okay. And so after your first adult stabbing, did you get caught for that, or did you get away with it?
No, somebody else actually got caught with it that didn't even have nothing to do with it.
Oh,
they took another homeboy to the hole for it.
Oh well. You win some, you lose some, you know. What was so you do your first mission? What was the time like? How long before you went on your second one, or had a riot or something?
I think that was back in '93. I think we had a 2-on-2 on the yard. Me and my buddy Luke with a couple of Native Americans, and then that was just a little fight, and then I got shipped out after that. As we were just here for reception center, so I was a level 3, and got shipped out to the level 3 yard at Mule Creek.
And just so nobody gets smart in the comments. Mule Creek was still general population before 2005. So, you hit Mill Creek, man, level 3. Are you walking kind of through? Are you walking through just kind of wide-eyed and like run me through the reception process in Mill Creek? You get your stuff, you get to your cell. Do they embrace you? You get the kitty, and then
Well, I mean, I was always embraced right away. Even if I didn't know nobody, which was highly unlikely, I was embraced because I was from Cocoa County. I think Cocoa County always had a big presence in his prison system for the whites. So I was embraced as soon as I got there, and right away started off getting in a lot of trouble. That's where I went to the hole there, and then didn't get out again until 2018.
Oh, see, so was there any when you're at Mill Creek any riots?
Oh yeah, there was we did a couple 2-on-1 removals, and I got sent to the level 4 yard there and did a couple removals there. Ended up getting busted with a knife, so I went to the hole there, and that's where we had quite a few riots and melees. There was in the hole at Mill Creek. It was integrated yard, so they put everybody together, and it was maybe 30, 40 people on the yard at once. So we had the first big one that I was involved in was, I believe there was me, one other white guy, and about 15 Southsiders against about 15 Northerners. And that was a real good one. They ended up shooting I believe back then it wasn't the Mini 14, it was the HK-94 9mm rifle. They shot a couple of those and then some block guns at us, and that was my first, like, in the hole, pretty big dust up.
And what was it over?
There were 2 yards right next to each other, and you could see them. We were just separated by chain link fence, and for some reason, I believe it was over a handball hitting somebody. The Northerners and Southerners on that yard got off, and as soon as we seen them getting off, we just got off.
And this was this the first one at Mill Creek you were in the hole, or was it the first one period you were at in Mill Creek?
This was like the first actual big riot that I was in. I think period, besides the juvenile hall stuff.
Okay, so this is your first okay, this is the big riot, man, the first one. Were you was it, walk me through, man, how was it dealing with the concussion grenades? Excuse me, concussion grenades and people getting shot and hit with locks and socks and stabbed and beat up and jumped and all the chaos, man, like things you've seen while you were, and what were you doing? How were you maneuvering? Did you put your back to anything? You get in a group with the homeboys. How'd it go down, bro?
No, I didn't get hit with none of the blocks or anything during that thing. I've got hit with many of them since, but during that incident, I didn't get hit with anything. I know that my buddy that was with me, a Southsider Boo Boo from Florencia, when I turned around and it first jumped off, there was 2 Northerners on him, and one of them was named Weasel from San Jose. And when that's who I went after, was Weasel from San Jose. And I mean, it was, I believe they fired one of the multiple baton rounds and then 2 shots from the HK-94 rifle. And I think the second little melee we had there was with the blacks. It was myself, the same white guy that was with me in the riot with the Northerners. His name was Smitty from Cocoa County. Me, Smitty, and I think 3 Southsiders jumped on 3 blacks. And that was that one again. They sprayed us pretty good and shot the HK-94 at us. And that one we had, after the blacks were still talking shit after we were laying on the ground. So on that one, I got up, me and a dude Shotgun, Southsider named Shotgun, and rushed one of the blacks again. And that's when the first time I got shot with a block gun. They stuck it through the fence and shot me pretty good. Definitely got my attention.
Did they skip it or try and shoot you in the head with it?
They didn't shoot me in the head. They shot me in the back with it. But it definitely didn't skip it. Back then it was wooden blocks. So it wasn't even the rubber skip rounds. It was actually wooden blocks. So they shot me in the back, fucked me up. It definitely got my attention.
Okay. Damn, man. That had to hurt. Like you said, it got your attention. And so what happened after that? That little riot.
I think after that, I was in the hole there for about a year, and then they kicked me back out to the level 4 yard there, A yard, and I ended up getting in a riot on the yard with the Southern Hispanics against the Northerners, and that one it was about 5 whites and about maybe 30 Southsiders against about 15 Northerners, and we just went to their workout area, walking by on the track, just took off on them. They didn't even see us coming really. Dogged them out pretty good. They fired one warning shot. We all got down. I think the 3 or 4 people got stabbed. I didn't stab nobody. And I went back to the hole, and that's when I never got out of the hole again till this term when I left Corcoran.
So that was the last riot you were in? On the main line?
No, on the main line, that was the last riot I was in. I've been in a couple more since then. Probably most notably was the one here in San Quentin that was in the late 90s maybe. We had a pretty good one here in East Block in the hole where we cut through the fence to get to the S&Y yard that was next to us.
Oh, can you talk about that, man? Did you how'd it go down once you got through the fence? What'd you use to cut the fence?
Well, I cut the fence with the blade off of a hair clipper. I cut through the fence because one of the guys on that S&Y yard had tried to spit on me when I was walking by cuffed up. So I just decided there, you know how I've described before to you, it's one sally port for 2 yards. So if you open the gate either to the right or left, it depends on which yard you're opening. And so I knew that the other yard was going to be recalled first. So when that happened, I cut our chain link fence and cut a hole in our gate. And so when they buzzed the gate for yard 6 to start coming off the yard, one of my homeboys' nails from San Jose dove through the hole and held the gate open while about 4 or 5 whites and 4 or 5 Southsiders went through the hole onto the other yard and smashed them out, the whole yard.
With weapons?
One of the Southsiders had the actual piece of the cyclone fence that we had cut off the fence to make the hole. He had that. The rest of us didn't have weapons. One guy might have had some bars of soap in the sock or something. I don't know. But it was
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
It went on for quite some time, though, because the cops, when we dove through the hole, they thought we were coming for them. And so the cops basically abandoned their post and took off running down the catwalk, and they thought we were coming out to get them. So they ran away back into East Block. So it went on for quite some time. The guy that tried to spit on me, that's who I got. The gunners from all 6 yards ran down to our yard and fired I believe it was 10 shots from the rubber bullets.
What's that like? Even rubber bullets, you know, because those they hit you in the right spot, man. They can do a lot of damage. And what was that like, man? Having just rounds, non-lethal rounds, rain down upon you.
I mean, most of the time, you don't feel them when in the the heat of the moment, as they say. Your adrenaline's going so good, but I had one time here in the adjustment center knock me off my feet, and I didn't feel it, but it powerful enough to take my legs out from under me.
Damn. So what happened to you guys after that riot? Did the cops, you know, they spray you, they beat you guys up, throw you in the adjustment center, or?
I did. We all did go to the adjustment center. So that was probably about my fourth or fifth trip to the adjustment center.
What is the difference?
I believe that was the last one.
My bad, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I think that was like the last little riot that I've been in.
Okay. We'll talk about, we'll kind of dedicate a whole video to the East Block riot when you and Boxer were going politicking with each other and all that stuff, like a kind of in-depth dive. I wanted to ask you, what was the difference between the SHU, like Pelican Bay, Corcoran, Tehachapi, and the adjustment center?
So the adjustment center was the hole or the SHU for people who were on death row. But if you kicked up enough dust, they basically they ran out of places to put you. So there was very few, if any, people in the adjustment center that were not condemned to die.
And would you rather do time in the adjustment center or one of the SHU spots?
It didn't matter to me. They both had their pluses and minuses. You're a little bit more secluded in the SHU, like up at Pelican Bay. You're not going to have very much access to anything beyond the 8 cells in your pod. And in the adjustment center, at least you had movement. We could go to the law library, get shit passed. The adjustment center had better canteen, things like that, than Pelican Bay, SHU, or Corcoran.
And we hear a lot about Pelican Bay and Corcoran, but one we really, if you hadn't been there, we don't really know much about is Tehachapi. They ever designate you there to the Tehachapi SHU?
No, I've never been to Tehachapi. I've
you?
been to Pelican Bay SHU a handful of times and the Corcoran SHU once.
And we'll do videos on those experiences at a later date. Did you ever hear things that were happening down in Tehachapi? Who did they send down there and like, it's just so unknown. I don't.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I can't really even come up with like a specific question about it.
I mean, I think it was just luck of the draw. Wherever CSR endorsed you, that's where you went. So it depends on what was open for intake and different factors like that.
Okay. And then when you were in the SHU, we'll talk about the experiences there. We'll just kind of leave a little teaser of what's to come. Was there ever any time the doors cracked and the cops did it on purpose to get you guys to get someone, or they didn't like someone and they did that to them when they weren't expecting?
Oh yeah, they used to do it all the time. And then it got, after lawsuits and things like that, they kind of slowed down on it. But they busted Todd Ashker out with somebody, and then they ended up shooting Todd in the arm with the Mini 14 rifle and putting a cast on over it, and it got him all fucked up.